Hello, good people of YouTube, and welcome to a requested video. And I've seen this on the last couple of top 5 videos that I've done, and it is, what are your top 5 premium ships that aren't battleships? Because I am a battleship main, so my last couple of top 5 videos have been very battleship biased, of course. And this was a good, it was a good topic for me because I really had to sit down and think, okay, out of all the premium ships that I own, what are my top 5 premiums that aren't battleships? And it's an interesting list to say the least. And remember, this is all my opinion. I'm not really going off of too much of stats and stuff, because I know people, they'll sit down, bust out a spreadsheet, the glorified spreadsheet, and say, "Oh, by the stats, this," and yeah, the stats for sure. You know, if you want to do it like that, then, well, you could, but that's not how I do it. This is just my personal top 5, and these aren't necessarily my top 5 favorite premium ships that aren't battleships, but these are the ones I would say, as a battleship player, you should definitely look into getting. And these ships on this list, they are, I would say, worth getting, and I'm making this clear because this is going to be fun, the comments on this video. They are worth getting, but these aren't necessarily my favorite. Most of these ships on this list I do like. There is one that I do not like, and just me saying that, you guys should probably figure out what it is already. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's poke this beehive, and let's start at number 5, which is the Tier 10 Russian light cruiser Smolensk. So, the Smolensk is, and Smolensk, I think Smolensk is the more correct way of pronouncing it. Again, I'm not really sure. I tried listening to Google as someone suggested, and it's a Google voice. I think Smolensk is the more correct way, rather than what I was saying before, which is Smolensk, but whatever. Smolensk. So the Smolensk is, of course, the Tier 10 Russian current cancer boat right now, and it's on this list just because it is so good. You cannot deny that this ship is not good right now. It is everything that the current meta is about: HE spam, rapid firing guns, staying concealed for most of the time that you're doing this, and it is so easy to do so well in this ship that I really couldn't make this list without it. And I was planning on not including this ship, but I just sat down, I thought about it, and I said, this ship, it's performing so well right now. I'm not a cruiser main, and even I can easily do 120, 130,000 damage in this ship in a game. Now, of course, 120, 130,000 damage, that's nothing to, that's not crazy for Tier 10. That's pretty dang good for Tier 10, but that's nothing too extreme. But this ship in the hands of a capable cruiser main, it's easy to do 200,000 plus damage, and that is rather quite very good for Tier 10. And of course, the ship does have its downsides, but its downsides are just so overshadowed by its upsides. So the downsides are that, you know, you don't get a whole lot of pinning power. You are really dependent upon RNG to set some fires to get any extreme amount of damage. But when RNG just does spawn upon you and you set fires left, right, and center, it's crazy the damage numbers you can do. The first time this ship appeared on my channel was a replay where I think Addison or Panda, one of you, I can't remember which one, I don't know why I get you guys confused so much, but you got like 30 something fires out of a single game, and I think it was like 1,200 shell hits, and it was just, I think it was like 300 and something thousand damage that game. And of course, it's just so crazy. The other downside, the other downside is that its armor is so crappy, but that ironically is to its benefit, because you will be overpinned by I almost died there, by any battleship that shoots at your broadside, and they'll just overpin you. I mean, it will do a okay-ish amount of damage, but they're just going to overpin you, and you can survive being blasted by just about every battleship in the game from 10 kilometers in, or at least any battleship you're going to meet for sure. Maybe the Scharnhorst with its smaller guns might do. No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure those are still overpinned because of German pin. But whatever. It's just stupid, but it's so good. I couldn't make this list without it, and that's why it's number 5. Because it's good, but it's good for the wrong reasons. It's good because it's greatly overpowered right now. Alright, now that the comments are exploding, let's go ahead and throw some more fire onto that. With number 4, which is the Atlanta, the Tier 7 Premium American Cruiser. So the Atlanta it's a fun ship. It's the right balance between silly amounts of HE spam. I mean, it's got the same amount of guns that the Smolensk has. Atlanta has 16 guns, Smolensk has 16 guns. It's just that Atlanta has 8 turrets, and Atlanta actually existed. And unlike the Smolensk, the Atlanta does have really bad armor, but it doesn't seem to experience the same problem that Smolensk does, because I get clipped by anything in the Atlanta from just about any angle, and I feel it. I feel it really, really freaking hard. And it doesn't get smokescreen unlike the Smolensk, but of course it is an American cruiser, which means it does very, very, very well at hugging an island and just catapulting HE everywhere. And it's a fun ship to play. It's, it's so easy to get screwed over in this ship, though. So it does take some practice to get used to it, which, of course, any ship is going to take practice to get really, really well at it. But I first bought this ship and I was playing it completely wrong, trying to play it as an open water kiting cruiser, and my god, it is not that. This is an island hugging, just catapult shells everywhere, and watch the world burn. And sure, it's annoying being on the receiving end of this, but I feel it is balanced enough with, Also, the turrets on this thing, they get knocked out all the time. If you're under any fire for any duration of time, and even with the main battery, not the main battery, primary armaments mod 1, they still get knocked out plenty. So make sure you take that in preventive maintenance if you do have an Atlanta. That way your DACA won't be hurt too much. And of course, you could also put the Flint here. Actually, the Flint would probably be one more up, which is the reward ships variant of the Atlanta, and that one gets a smokescreen, but 4 less guns. So that one's good too. So either of these ships you could put here. All right. So moving on to number 3, we have the Tier 8 Premium American Destroyer, the Kid. The Kid is, for all intents and purposes, a down-tiered Fletcher with one set of torpedo tubes ripped off. Great AA on a destroyer. If you're having a bad case of CV cancer, just take the Kid out, or get the Kid, and laugh. Even against Tier 10 carriers, the Kid is a very, very, very good AA destroyer. She gets, and that's the reason she's missing a torpedo set of torpedo tubes, is because, they strapped more AA to it. She gets defensive AA, the defensive AA fire cooldown module, which is hilarious, especially if you get put with a Tier 6 carrier. Then that's just bullying at that point. And it's an amazing ship. And it's a Fletcher. It's a Fletcher at Tier 8 with a heal. I almost forgot to mention that. It gets a heal on top of all that too, which is good for new destroyer players because you can afford to be more aggressive. And I gotta say, as a person who never played a destroyer before, boy, was Kid was something. Because this was my first destroyer, and I know it's stupid of me to buy a Tier 8 destroyer and having played nothing before. And I learned fast. She has a very good smokescreen. She's pretty fast. She's a great gunboat. And, it's a Fletcher. If you're familiar with a Fletcher, that's the Kid, just at Tier 8. And I gotta say, great little boat. I would recommend getting her. Alright, moving on to number 2. We have the Tier 9 Premium American Cruiser, the Alaska. The Alaska, the long-awaited battle cruiser, super cruiser, whatever you want to call it. Great ship. She gets some amazing guns, And on top of that, she's a cruiser with battle cruiser levels of firepower, and she gets American AP, the super heavy AP with the improved pin angles. So you can pull off some amazing shots in the Alaska. She gets radar on top of that, and her armor, I mean, she's not meant to tank, but her armor is better than something like the Azuma, but not as good as something like the Kronstadt, to where it's a nice balance of in between those two ships. And she can take a decent amount of damage for a cruiser. Don't get me wrong, like I said, don't tank in her, but you can afford to be a bit more cavalier and upfront than you could in something like the Azuma. I mean, of course, the Azuma is meant for long range. The Alaska is very, very much American. It fits very nicely into the American profile, and she's a great mid-range super cruiser. She's if tier 9 rank comes back up. I mean, this is the ship that got me down to, what was it, rank 4, I believe. I used this ship to get all the way down there. Great ship. She's a Citadel machine, and that's the thing about the American AP. It's slow, yes, but you're going to overpin cruisers far less because it is so slow. And she also has pretty good HE on top of that. If you can't pin the crap out of it, you sure can burn the crap out of it. A fairly maneuverable ship too, and again, radar. It has decent AA. It's not exactly an AA cruiser, but it's workable if you really want to build into it. I'm sure you can, but I would go with a survivability build instead. And worth every bit of free XP that you either have to grind out or transfer over. Great ship, highly recommend it. And unless you're saving up for the Siegfried, which God knows when that's coming out, I would recommend you get the Alaska while you still can, because I would imagine when the Siegfried comes out, they're probably going to remove the Alaska. They may not. Who knows? We'll find out when it comes to that. Alright, so number 1. The Tier 10 Soviet supercruiser Stalingrad. Who didn't see this coming? Probably a fair amount of people, because I haven't included the Stalingrad in my past couple of top 5 lists. Because the Stalingrad, I left it out of those other videos because it is a reward ship. It is one hell of a grind for this ship, but it is very much worth it. Now, is this in the same realm of overpoweredness like the Smolensk? I would say no, because the Stalingrad's downsides are a bit more exploitable than the Smolensk. And I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, for those who don't know, Stalingrad, it's basically the Kutuzov, not the Kutuzov, the I just said that thing's name. The Tier 9 Soviet supercruiser. Why can't I remember that to save the life of me right now? I literally just said it. Or unless I called it the Khabarovsk by mistake. Kronstadt, the Kronstadt. Good God. Wow, I'm getting old, guys. It's a Kronstadt, has the same guns that the Kronstadt has, except they're far more accurate. And she's, pretty much a super Moskva, if you want me to be honest with you. Plays exactly the same. You keep your bow forward to the enemy. You use your front 2 turrets to pin the crap out of anything. The Smolensk has amazing AP. Smolensk. The Stalingrad has amazing AP. It's very useful in clan battles. It has Soviet radar. It's got a I think it's 12.6 kilometer radar range. Doesn't last for too long though, but man, it's got a reach on it. And great bow armor. It's got that strip of bow armor that every Soviet cruiser and Soviet battleship has. Well, every high tier Soviet cruiser and Soviet battleship has. And it's very, very good. Great pins, great bow armor. Got a freaking huge health pool, so it can take punishment. But the downsides, it's got the turning circle radius of the moon. It has the Citadel armor of, Lord, I don't know, wet tissue paper? Because, good Lord, anything catches your broadside, except for maybe destroyers, you're getting citadeled. and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt something fierce. So it's is more powerful than it probably should be, but again, it's not in the realm of just stupid overpowered like the Smolensk, in my opinion at least. And this is a ship that you do have to go through one just insane grind to get, so it being a little overtuned is more okay. It's not, I'm not giving it my seal of approval to be overpowered, but I mean, just the grind you have to go through in this thing, it should have a bit more of an advantage in my opinion, but again, it shouldn't be just outright flat better than every other option, because it's really not. It can get countered hard by the Henry, and enough HE will burn it down, and it doesn't get the super special damage con that the Soviet battleships get, so if you throw enough HE at it, it's going to go down. But it will take its dear sweet time going down, but it will die. And, I mean, that is the whole situation with the Stalingrad. It is a super exclusive premium that you do have to go through a long grind to get to. But just like the Smolensk, this ship does belong on this list because it is a very, very good cruiser. So this is number one because of all the reasons I've said before, and to the people saying, well, this really shouldn't be here because Soviet bias and all that, it's really not that Soviet bias compared to some other things. Is it strong? Yes. Is it overpowered? I would say it is a little bit, but it's not cancerous like the Smolensk. You at least have to play this smartly in order to make this ship really shine. The Smolensk, you can just hide in your smoke screen behind an island and farm damage all day. With the Stalingrad, you have to at least put yourself in danger to do well. And like I said, it does have a massive citadel that can be exploited if you flank it. And I know the current meta in Stalingrad is you point your bow towards them, just like Moskva, and you try to keep your bow pointed toward them or stay angled and keep backing up. And it's not hard to deal with Stalingrad because it can't really hide. It can't hug islands or anything because the shell arcs are so flat. And you really don't see too much of them anymore. I really don't run into these a lot. I used to run them into them a lot, but I don't know if the Stalingrad population is just the people that like playing overpowered Soviet ships, and how they're kind of just all in the Smolensk. Smolensk is just freaking everywhere now. So there's that. But anyway, before this video gets too long, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your top 5 favorite premium ships that are not battleships? And like I said before, this was a real challenge for me because I really don't have that many premium ships that aren't battleships. So, yeah. And these are some of the ones that I play the most. Smolensk, I mean, I'm playing a lot right now because I'm still reviewing it. But, for 4 through 1, I do play these quite a bit. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're enjoying your Tuesday. If you did enjoy the video, please drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We are on our way to 5,000 subscribers. We are under 200 away from that goal, and potentially by the time this video comes out, we may be under 100 away from that. I'm planning on doing a Tier 8 giveaway. Haven't decided on what Tier 8 I'm going to give away just yet. So let me know in the comments down below. What Tier 8 ship would you like me to give away for 5,000 subscribers? Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next one.